What if your problem was never a lack of motivation? What if the real problem is that everything around you is built to make quitting easy? Your phone is within reach, your goals are vague, your habits depend entirely on how you feel that morning, and somehow you're surprised when you lose to the same version of yourself. Again, you don't need another burst of motivation, you need a system that refuses to negotiate with your emotions. Batman doesn't wake up hoping he'll feel disciplined today. His environment, his rules, his training, his routines, they're built around the man he has to become. That's the difference between hoping you change and building a life that forces the change. By the end of this video, you'll know how to build that exact system, one that makes distractions harder, discipline easier, and progress almost unavoidable. Stop relying on motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are unreliable. Some mornings you feel unstoppable, other mornings you can't even get out of bed on time. Neither version of you is the real you, they're just chemistry and circumstance. The people who stay consistent didn't discover a permanent supply of motivation, they stopped depending on it entirely. Here's the principle: discipline gets easier when the decision is already made. Instead of deciding every morning whether to train, schedule the time so there's nothing left to decide. Instead of hoping you'll study, build a fixed block where studying is the only option. Instead of promising you won't touch your phone, remove it from the room before the temptation exists. Today, pick one decision you keep remaking every day, and make it permanent. Design your environment. Your behavior is shaped more by your surroundings than by your willpower. If a distraction is always visible, your brain has to fight it constantly, and eventually, it loses. So change what's visible. Put your phone outside the room while you work. Delete the apps that steal your hours, or bury them where they're inconvenient to find. Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Keep the book on your desk instead of the remote. Prepare tomorrow's most important task tonight, so tomorrow you simply begin. The Batcave isn't decoration. Every tool in it exists to support one mission. Nothing sits there by accident. Your space should work the same way, built for who you're trying to become, not who you are on your laziest day. Change one thing in your environment today that makes your goal easier to reach. Think about sleep for a second, because most people fight it without realizing they built the fight themselves. Bright light at midnight, a phone on the pillow, a screen an inch from your face, and then confusion about why you can't switch off. Dim the lights an hour before bed, charge your phone across the room, and suddenly, sleep isn't a battle, it's just what happens next. The same is true in business. The founders who actually ship don't have more discipline than everyone else at 11 p.m. They removed the meetings that drained the day, blocked the notifications, and protected 2 hours where nothing could reach them. Their environment made deep work the default, not the exception, and it's true in relationships too. If your phone is always on the table, connection has to compete with a screen, and the screen usually wins. Put it away before the conversation starts, and presence stops being something you try for. It becomes what's left when the distraction is gone. Create rules your emotions can't negotiate. This is where most self-improvement fails, because it depends on feeling ready. A goal tells you where you're going. A rule tells you what you do today, regardless of how you feel about it. I train, even if the session is short. I don't touch social media before my first real task is done. I finish what I start before I start something new. Rules remove the daily negotiation between you and your excuses. There's no debate, no bargaining, no just this once. Pick 3 rules right now, make them simple, specific, and something you can actually keep, not something that sounds impressive on paper. A rule you break in a week isn't a rule, it's a suggestion. Make the right action easier. Discipline isn't only about resisting temptation in the moment. The smarter move is removing the temptation before it ever reaches you. Reduce the friction on good habits and increase the friction on bad ones. Want to read more? Put the book on your pillow so you physically can't ignore it. Want to work sooner? Set up your desk the night before so your morning starts with zero setup. Want to stop scrolling? Log out, delete the app, or leave your phone in another room while you work. Want to train consistently? Pack your gym bag before bed, so the only decision left is walking out the door. This is the psychology behind friction. Your brain takes the path that requires the least effort, so build the path toward the person you want to be. Take 10 minutes today and reset one part of your environment around this principle. Use triggers to make the habit automatic. Willpower is expensive, and you only get a limited amount of it each day. So the goal isn't to spend more of it, the goal is to spend less. That's what a trigger does for you. A trigger is a fixed signal that tells your brain this behavior starts now. So you stop negotiating with yourself every single time. Alarm goes off. You're already standing. Feet on the floor before your mind has time to argue. Coffee finishes brewing. That's the signal your deep work block begins. No scrolling first. No just 5 minutes. You close your laptop at a fixed hour. That's the trigger that tells your body sleep preparation has started. Notice what's happening here. You're not relying on discipline in the moment. You built the moment, so discipline isn't required. This works in relationships too. Instead of hoping you'll be present with the people you love, build a trigger. Phone goes in another room the second you sit down for dinner. Instead of hoping you'll call your parents, attach it to something you already do every week, so it never gets forgotten. The businesses that scale, the athletes who stay consistent, the people who actually finish what they start, they didn't find more motivation than you. They built more triggers than you. Pick one habit you keep failing to start and attach it to something you already do without thinking. That single change removes the decision entirely. Build a system that catches you when you fail. Eventually you'll miss a workout. Waste a day. Lose focus. Break a rule you swore you'd keep. Everyone does. The difference isn't whether you fail, it's what you do in the next 24 hours. A weak system says, I already failed, so what's the point now? A strong system says, I failed once, so I return immediately. Set yourself one rule for this. Never let one missed day become two. One slip is data, 2 in a row is the start of a new pattern, and that's the line you protect. Recover without punishing yourself. Because self-hatred doesn't build discipline, it just adds more reasons to quit. For Batman, failure was never proof he wasn't the right man for the job, it was information. Corrected and applied the next night. Treat your setbacks the same way. Track what actually matters. I want to be more disciplined is too vague to act on. You can't track a feeling, but you can track a behavior. Days trained. Hours of deep work. Pages read, tasks finished before noon. Seeing your own consistency creates momentum that motivation never could. Build a short daily scorecard. 5 lines is enough. Training, deep work, learning, no wasted scrolling, sleep on schedule. Check them off. Nothing more complicated than that. Don't track everything you do. Track the few behaviors that actually produce the result you want. Make failure expensive. In public, tracking alone works for a while, but private promises are the easiest ones to break. No one's watching, so no one notices when you quietly let it slide. That's why the strongest systems add one more layer. Accountability, not motivation from someone cheering you on. Pressure, real pressure, from someone who will actually notice if you disappear. Tell one person your rule out loud. Send a friend your scorecard at the end of each week. Not for praise, just so someone else sees it. Put money on the line if you have to. A small bet against yourself is often louder than any pep talk. Join or build a small group with the same standard. Because a rule is easier to break alone than in front of witnesses. This isn't about needing approval, it's about closing the one exit that private failure always leaves open. The exit where nobody ever finds out. Batman was never a lone operator by accident. Alfred, Gordon, the people who held him to the mission when he wanted to cut corners, they were part of the system too. Discipline isn't weaker because you built support into it, it's smarter. Find one person today who can hold your rule with you and tell them exactly what you're building. Become the person your system was built for. At the start, you're forcing yourself through the system. Every session feels like a decision. Every rule feels like a rule. But repetition changes what you're doing at a deeper level. The system stops being something you follow and starts becoming who you are. You stop saying, "I'm trying to be disciplined." You start thinking, "This is just what I do." Batman doesn't ask himself each night whether he feels like training. His identity already answered that question years ago. Identity is built through evidence, not intention. Every promise you keep to yourself is one more vote for the person you're becoming. The system becomes your identity. Here's the entire method. Together. Remove decisions you don't need to make daily. Design your environment around your goal, not your comfort. Create rules your emotions can't argue with. Lower the friction on good actions. Raise it on bad ones. Track the behaviors that actually matter. Recover immediately every single time you slip. Repeat it long enough, and the behavior becomes identity. You were never meant to feel strong every morning. You were meant to build something that keeps moving you forward on the mornings you're weak. That's what real discipline looks like, not perfection, a system that survives you at your worst. Bruce Wayne didn't become Batman because he felt ready. He built the training, the rules, and the environment first. The identity followed the system, not the other way around. Yours will too. Think about where you are right now. Maybe you've started this 100 times. A new plan on a Sunday night, gone by Wednesday. That's not a character flaw. That's just what happens when a plan depends on a feeling that was never going to last. You don't need another plan. You need fewer decisions, a harder environment for your excuses, and an easier path for your effort. You need rules that don't ask how you feel today. You need a way back, immediately the moment you slip. No waiting for Monday. No waiting for a new year. You don't need to win today. You need a system that brings you back tomorrow. No matter how today went, do that enough times. And one morning you'll realize you're no longer forcing it. You'll stop counting the days you showed up, because showing up will simply be what you do. That's the quiet part no one tells you about discipline. It doesn't arrive like a lightning strike, one dramatic morning where everything changes. It arrives like this, small, boring, repeated, until it's no longer a choice at all. If you're ready to stop waiting, to feel disciplined, and start building the system instead, comment, "I build the system." Not for anyone watching, for the version of you that's still waiting on the other side of it.